Armed with only a compass and straight edge, we're supposed to complete these following constructions. We'll start with number 1. We're going to construct a square, and its perimeter is equal to the segment length down here, SQ. So if it's a square, let me just kind of sketch a little thumbnail here for question number 1. If it's a square, and I have one complete segment, it's like SQ here, that I need to break this up into 4 pieces to stretch around to make this square. All of them are exactly the same, and its perimeter is equal to SQ. That means I have to break this up into 4 congruent parts. And I'll do that by first finding the midpoint, and that'll break it up into half, and then I'll find the midpoint between S and the first midpoint. Maybe I'll call that N. So this part would be 1/4, and then I'm going to use that as the side length for my square. And to make this square, since I'm starting with a side length, I'll just construct some right angles by bisecting a line, which is 180 degrees. So that's kind of the setup there. So the first thing that I need to do is actually bisect twice segment SQ, and I'll do that with the good old-fashioned two-tailed fish method. So I need to stretch my compass so that's bigger than half of this whole segment. Hopefully your compass is long enough and stretches far enough. Alright, so this should do it. There's half the fish. Let's draw the other half of the fish. Okay, so from these 2 points of intersection, we don't need to draw the entire line on there. We just need to see where that midpoint would be. Alright, so let me go ahead and line this up to the best of my ruler and my pencil's ability. So here's where that midpoint would be. So now I'm going to bisect this one more time in between S and this midpoint, just out of convenience. We'll call it M. So between S and M, shrink my compass down. Or I can bisect it over here from M to Q. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so this should do it. Stick my point on S. Here's half my fish. Now stick the point of my compass on this new point M. There's the other half of my fish. And just like before, we just need these points of intersection and connect them to find the quarter point. Okay, right, so here's the quarter point. Call that N. So in between S and N, this is going to be the side length of my square. I'll just have to copy that thing 4 times and make sure all my angles are right angles. So I'll do that over here on this beautiful piece of goldenrod paper. So we'll start with drawing a segment. And someplace in here we'll put the side length of this. Let's see, what is this thing called anyway? It doesn't even say what the name of the square is. We'll just call it anything we want. We'll call it, how about A, B, C, and just to throw everybody off, E. So this will be, let's say, side AB. Stretch my compass to that segment length from S to N. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to copy that length over here onto my new line. And let's say I call this point A, correspond with that one, and this one B, correspond with that one. And I can either make my square going upwards or downwards, doesn't really matter. Pick something. And now we're going to basically bisect this 180 degrees to make a 90-degree angle. We'll do that twice. So you just select yourself any compass setting here and make your sad dead, or your sad face, one around B as well. Okay, and then if we stretch our compass out a bit further, I have to stretch it out a little bit further because otherwise I'll hit right back here at A. So stretch this out a little bit further. Let's make our 2 dead guys' eyes down here at the bottom. There's the first one. And the second one. All right, and I'm going to connect these back up through A and B, and I can either make my square down here with those sides that I just made, or I could make it up there at the top, whatever you're feeling. Okay, so line this up, do the same thing over here. Right, and now if I go back to this original compass setting from A to B, and copy that down here, and copy that over here on this line that's on the right hand side. This would be point E, and then we have point C. And just connect those two. And now we have our square ABCE, whose perimeter is equal to SQ.